Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand and you have been watching my videos related to geography, environment and research methodology on my channel, The Geoecologist. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing as we are doing geography, environment and several other topics related to the examinations like UPSC, state exams, UGC NET and several others on this channel. Now in this session on economic geography, what we are doing here is that today's topic is related to agriculture. As in the last session, if you have not watched, we talked about agricultural typology, agricultural classification by Whittlesey. So in today's session, we are going to learn about the agricultural inputs and productivity, various factors, its importance and its context to world and India as well. So before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do share the videos with others as well. So now let's discuss about this agricultural inputs and productivity. So first of all, let's understand what are these words. What is productivity? So productivity is a ratio. It means it's a mathematical calculation when we say something is productive, right? The product. So ratio of farm output to farm input. Right? So how much do you produce after a certain level of investment or input in the particular farm in terms of agriculture, right? So productivity in simple mathematics, how can explain is output by input costs. Right? So productivity is different from fertility. Remember, high fertile soil need not be highly productive always, right? So that's why soil fertility cannot be equated in exact way, or a positive correlation is always not necessary between soil fertility and soil productivity. Right? So that's important to understand. For example, despite having high fertile agricultural land in India, as we know, as compared to China and South Korea, productivity is much less than China and South Korea in terms of productivity or farm productivity in India, right? So it means that other factors are also important when we are talking about productivity. It's not just about soil fertility, right? So apart from this, one question is also there to understand, that is why productivity is important in today's world. So there are three things that we need to understand here. One is to create a regional balance, because we already know there is a regional imbalance. And if regional imbalance is there, we need to determine through calculating different productivities of different areas, and then we can improve upon it. So if we don't know the imbalance between the inputs and the outputs, we cannot create a state of balance. The management cannot happen. Then second point is knowledge disparities exist across the world. So it can also be known through productivity, because productivity incorporates several factors that talks about the knowledge of agriculture, farm products, and productivity is the actual measurement of the efficiency in a farm sector. So if we want to increase efficiency, what do we need to learn about is the productivity and its attributes, right? So these three things, the imbalance, the disparities and also the knowledge related to efficiency is what is important when we learn about the farm inputs and farm productivity, especially in agricultural sector. So now let's understand what are these inputs, right? So inputs are seed, fertilizer, labor, tools, skill, policy, and remember, these are the basic factors of production in terms of the agriculture, if we say, because if these vary, the agriculture will vary, right? So in a system model, if you observe here, what is there? The input is this particular thing. How we input is the process. But what is the input is what exactly these factors, right? So now when inputs are given to the system, that is the productivity system, the farm system, the process starts, and it gives us a result, that is our output, right? And by looking at our output, what do? We look at that how much was the input, so how much is the output, and we look at the ratio and understand, was it efficient enough? Was the productivity good enough? If not, then there is a feedback mechanism. It may be a negative feedback or a positive feedback. Positive feedback means continue doing so, or also at the same time also improve the same things, the same inputs. But if there is a negative feedback, that output was not as per the demand or as per the aspiration, it means we need to check at the input point and also at the process point. So these are the 2 points where the feedbacks work out. right? So at input level also and at the processing level, it means how we are doing it. Agriculture is not just about what we are inputting, but in what ways we are using it, right? So that's where this diagram could be explanatory for you. Now look at the output. Food grains, grass, fruit, meat, milk, fish, so many outputs that we derive from farm system. And what are the processes? Processes: farming, harvesting, plowing, livestock farming, several things that we also learned in the agricultural typology classification in the Whittle-Sees classification, right? And then this feedback, as you know, it's based on the farm output. Farmers get the feedback, right? How efficient was it? How beneficial it was, right? Using this feedback or experienced knowledge, farmer may change the input or the process. That is what we learn here. So the four things related to the farm activities and productivity in the system is this: input, output, processing, and also the feedback. Now it all depends upon the play or interplay of these four factors, how our agriculture, how our farm activities are going to shape up and create a regional pattern, a local pattern, or a global pattern of agriculture. That's why these four factors are very important. Now if you look here, what are the determinants of agricultural productivity? So let's learn three major determinants, or we can say the factors that determine. So environmental factors are the primary factors, as we already know. We have learned a lot in environmental geography, right? The climate, soil, and several other factors related to it. Then comes the socio-economic factor, which is essentially purely human factors, right? So not just the factors of production, but the modes of production: capitalist, socialist, what kind of mode of production is it, right? So factors plus mode of production is mainly important here in socio-economic factors, right? Like land management and also inheritance, social affairs, and several developmental parameters. Then agricultural inputs, the third one, which we already talked recently, that is the pivotal role player. So three things talk about the agricultural productivity, right? And under the inputs, we have several factors we have already learned, right? So there are known as infrastructural agricultural inputs, right? For example, what are these? If you learn here, the irrigation facility, HYV seeds, that is high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizer, modern agricultural implements, pesticides, so many things that we use. These are part of your agricultural inputs, as we know already, right? And these are, that's why called infrastructural agricultural inputs. So infrastructure input, then second thing is socio-economic factor, human factor, and then you have natural factor. Together they build up the entire agricultural productivity ecosystem, right? That's important to understand. Now look into the world map here by Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO map here, right? So what do you observe? The darker green areas of the world. What do you observe here? The productivity is on the higher side. While you go on the lighter side, African, Sub-Saharan, some other areas here, right, in the world, which are not doing well in terms of agriculture productivity. And remember, agriculture productivity is the representation of several factors beneath it, within it, right? So if you just look into the map, you know which areas in the world are doing well in agriculture just by this pattern, right? So now let's elaborate further about agricultural productivity measurements. Now, when we say measurements, there are two things to understand. There would be some techniques which would be essentially quantified, quantitative techniques. And there would be some techniques would be talking about the qualitative aspect. So there is a list of techniques, and in details you can learn from any source where you find these techniques. I have created a list of these techniques. So what is it? Output per unit area you can determine. Production per unit area of farm labor. Then to assess agricultural production as grain equivalence you can do. Input output ratio you can calculate. Ranking coefficient, if you know how to rank and make coefficient analysis of this in statistical tools. Then carrying capacity analysis you can do. Further, giving weight, so this is weightage with ranking, that ordering you can do, right? Determining an index of productivity and computing the crop yield and concentration of these indices and ranking coefficient. So this is purely statistical tools, right? Then involving the area, production, piece of each of the cultivated crop in each of the constituent area units, right? Specific crops in specific unit, and look into their outturn in terms of money. That's what you can equate. To assess agriculture production in terms of money is the thing that can also be done. How much is it generating, right? And assessing the net income in rupees per hectare of cropped area. So these are certain ways, certain methods, and there are many more methods which can also be used in terms of the qualitative aspect. If also you see that how much is the satisfaction, how much is the quality of life, how much is the standard of living of the farmers because of that particular productivity. Right? So those things can also be incorporated while you're trying to measure the wholesome agriculture productivity and come to some generalized conclusion of that particular area at that particular point of time. Right? So this is important to understand. Now, types of productivity in general, what are the list here? Farm productivity you can calculate, labor productivity, machine productivity, dairy productivity, and livestock productivity. So these are different kinds of productivities related to agriculture productivity. Now it all depends upon where are you looking into, which aspect specifically, there you can calculate these. And these are the methods to increase productivity. If there is a question that what are the methods to maximize, optimize, increase the productivity, what should be the answers? The mechanization is one aspect. Innovative ideas in agriculture and technological usage, knowledge and skill. Remember, we also talk about the indigenous knowledge being preserved and now being implemented again. Then high quality seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, right? And also with at least minimum risk of ecology, right? Land degradation, that is important at the same time. And zero budget farming and soil health and card schemes and several other government schemes are also going on in this aspect where soil pH testing and several other things are being done. So these are the methods which could be implemented in an area depending upon the problems of the area, which we could determine to increase the overall productivity of that area. Right? Now, look into the world map, the countries of high productivity. So what you find, the developed countries mostly. So in that, what you find that some other countries like Egypt, China, Chile, Indonesia, and South Korea, which are these countries where both environmental factors as well as input factors have worked out. Right? And then examples in Egypt is this black alluvium soil and agricultural inputs together. 95% of the land arable they have made because of this. Chile, China, Indonesia, France, South Korea, Germany, if you study, you'll find that not just the land, the natural resource, but also human inputs, human resource coming together to make it more productive. That is what they have done. And then medium productivity countries, if you see, what are these? Vietnam, Malaysia, Argentina, Myanmar, Mexico, Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines. There you have the second tier of these particular countries where the productivity is good. And then you have the low productivity countries. Of course, you understand there are limitations of environmental sustainability, agricultural inputs, technological inputs, human resources are on a lower side in these countries. The sub-Saharan Africa, if you observe some portions here in the Asia Minor and Middle Eastern countries, some portions in Central America, South America, these are the areas where you'll find that there are some lower level of the inputs as well as the natural factors. So these are on low productivity countries across the world. So this is the geographical pattern of the world in terms of agriculture productivity, if you want to make it, right? So one map and analysis alongside the factors could be good for your answer writing as well. So what you need to practice is not just the nature of the agricultural factors or the factors related to inputs, outputs, variables, but rather also know the measurement techniques and at the same time try to make it more geographical through the mapping practices of these patterns that are created because of these agricultural outputs. Or you can say agricultural productivity as wholesome. So it is representation of efficiency. It is representation of socio-economic orders in the country. It is representations of so-called sustainable development, as we say, right? So if you look into the sustainable development map of the world, this will also play an important role. This map of the world also talks about that where sustainability practices are in which ways, right? So that's important to learn from here. So now, when we have discussed about the various aspects of the agricultural inputs and agricultural productivity, in the sessions to come, we'll be talking more on other aspects of economic geography and also related to environment and research methodology. So stay tuned, stay safe, keep watching and learning, and don't forget to share the videos with others as well.